50%. Do you want it to pay all of it? Actually, let's illustrate it a different way. I like giving this illustration. I love giving this illustration. 100 people go to dinner, okay? 100 people go to dinner. One person offers to pay 46% of the bill, okay? And then 9 other people chip in and they say, hey, look, with our help, we can pay 76% of the bill. And then 40 other people chip in and they say, we're going to pick up 97.7% of the bill. Now you're assuming you're on the bottom 50%, and now 50 people left at this dinner are told, you guys got to come up with the other 2.3%. Would you say to the people that paid disproportionately for the dinner, would you say that they should pay more? Or do you think that you would just say thank you and then reach in your pocket and the 50 of you pick up that 2.3?
So I like that analogy. That's a good analogy because I go to dinner a lot. So this is how I would do it. If I make significantly more than all of the people at the table, I'm going to pay for the food. And I'm especially going to pay for the food of my friend who I know is broke and doesn't have any money. I'm going to pay for her.
Right, but there's 100 people at the table. How many people are you going to pay for? Because the way the taxes work now, that one person would pay for 46 people. Do you think that's a fair deal?
I think that, like I said, if I make significantly more than my friends or the people that I'm sitting amongst, I'm going to pay it. Because I know that it's not going to hurt me as much as it will hurt them.
Correct.
Between equality and equity.
I don't like either of those terms. But I don't like either of those terms. But let's go back to this scenario where it's 100 people. You guys took over a restaurant. There's 100 of you, right? And let's assume you're the wealthiest person among your group, right? And the bill comes, and everybody's like, oh, wow, that's pretty big. And you, being the wealthiest, if you said, you know what, I'm going to pay for 46 of us, right?
Oh, we'll see.
And the 99 of you, right, that are left, you guys can figure out how to pay for the other 54 dinners. Do you think that the remaining people would look at that and say, man, that seems like pretty good?
I think that I would rank it as who makes the most. Then they can pay the tip. Who eats the most?
Just the tip?
As well as another thing.
Are you saying you just a tip?
Whatever.
So Brian, can I jump in?
Well, yeah, we're done. Go next.
No, Roger, I'd like to ask a question because I will have 100 people in our company at one table. And as a company owner, we will pay for the whole meal for everybody because they're our biggest asset. However, this is the part, Jinx, I would ask you a question. How do you think that I got to the point as a business owner to be able to pay for the whole table?
By being frugal.
No. You say by being frugal, right? But I'm asking you a question.
No. Sorry, no.
It's not by being, no, it's not the wrong answer. I want you to think, okay, because you want to penalize me because I own the company. You want me to pay more taxes, even though I'm already paying taxes for myself as a corporation, as an individual, and I'm paying all of the people that work in our organization also to the federal government. I'm paying a lot. So when you say these things, you got to make sure you're looking across the board of every single person involved. You're penalizing the person that creates jobs, the person that gives people opportunities. And listen, some of the people that work in our organization has been with me 20 years. That means we put their kids through school, we help them go to college, we put clothes on them, we have complete holiday parties where we purchase everything. But you know what we don't do? We don't want to tax our employees and the people that work for us anymore because they help us grow. And the more money we make, the more money they make.
So
I land.
the a
increase
really good
wages
point,
because it
but
doesn't
my
seem like the
thing-
more money they make.
My whole thing about that is, Edward, this is my first time ever meeting you, but I'm talking about billionaires too, mind you. I'm
So,
not
Jinx,
talking
Jinx, hold
about
on,
the
Jinx.
people who have,
Jinx,
like,
there's no
I'm not talking about the Beverly Hills people who happen to own a 6-bedroom house worth 3.5 million, or the ones that own a house that are like even 6.8 million or whatever. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about billionaires. Those are the people we should not have.
No, Jinx, hold on.
How'd
So
they get
Roger
there,
asked you a simple
Jinx?
question.
How'd the billionaire get there?
Yeah, but let's
How'd
be
they
sure.
get there, Jinx?
Well,
Tell-
wait. Let's let Edward go first, and then Abby, and then I'll go next.
So Jinx, I want you to know there's 3,027 billionaires on planet Earth. There's 8.3 billion people on planet Earth. What you're doing is you're penalizing one little group of people who have created so much commerce. These people created a lot of things. I'm not going to blame them because they've gotten to the industry and created our lives better. Like right now, a lot of us on an iPhone or an iPad or whatever. Someone deserves that because that's what they created. The marketplace allows these things. And some people are going to grow through the marketplace. That's what happens. But you and I know if I, Edward, want to earn more money, or people come to me and say, hey, Edward, I want to make more money in the company. And I says, okay, bring me more value. Go create more value for our company, and we'll pay you proportionate to what you bring. What you're saying is that we should penalize people, and I'm just making sure I'm understanding you, James, that we should penalize people because they happen to become rich because they've done something for all of what I call humanity. That's my understanding.
So Jinx, I want to segue on what he said. So how do you think they got where they are? Do you think they all started rich? The billionaires that
No,
bother you?
no, of course not. I mean, their children will have
But no,
started
I asked
rich,
about the
but not
children.
them.
Not them.
Yeah.
So do you think some of them might have worked their asses off really hard, studied really hard in school, and worked really hard to build what they built? Do you think that might be the case with some of?
I think that might be the case for a lot of them, not even some.
Okay.
But
So
I think that a lot of people work really hard.
right. So if you work really hard, isn't that a reasonable result that you gain success and financial success from hard work?
No.
Yes, but not into the billions.
Well, not
That's
into
my
the
whole
billions. But what if you come up? I mean, I happen to be in business with someone who did this, whose dad was a taxi driver. This guy was a court reporter. He had nothing, barely went through school, and came up with a concept and built it, lost millions, then reinvented himself, and ultimately became a billionaire. And just as you heard, created tens of thousands, I should say hundreds of thousands now, of jobs around the world because of his resilience and hard work and building a company, and affected the world. So why does this guy get penalized where you want him gone? Because he did all this hard work and all this great success.
I don't think that he should be penalized. I think that him living in the United States of America, using the roads that he uses, having these employees, making sure he has health insurance for them, I think that he's using the country. We are actually giving him the ability to make those billions of dollars. So he should give back and not have billions and billions of dollars.
You just heard, and Nick can go through it financially because he's an accountant. He can tell you. But he pays taxes. He pays for himself. He pays for his company. He pays for his employees. He pays the property tax where his businesses are located. He pays the use taxes. His company is licensed and has a particular tax for their business that they're in. He pays all kinds of regulatory fees. So, I mean, if you look at this, there's all kinds of taxes. And then, by the way, I'm going to land with you're all worried about 4 generations out. By the way, and someone can give you the statistics on this, most of this great wealth doesn't pass more than maybe 2 generations, and that's statistical. But even if it passes down generations, which, by the way, a majority of these billionaires have taken the oath that Warren Buffett developed with Bill Gates, where they've pledged to give away about 90% of their income altruistically to philanthropies. You negate to talk about how much these people also provide into the philanthropic sector and build out hospitals and community centers, etc. I mean, these horrible billionaires that do that. But these generations, there's something that we have called an inheritance tax. So a good 50% they have to pay in taxes to the government after the billionaire dies. And we know the stories of the families that have had to sell off their assets, the farmers that have to sell off after generations of having farmland because they inherit it and they can't afford to keep it because they can't pay the inheritance tax on it. So you're forgetting there's other factors here. It's these horrible billionaires. So next time you go into a community center, into your hospital, or to maybe you go see the theater, you go into a center for the arts, or you go into a museum, take a look at whose names are on the walls and who donated the money for those facilities.
Yeah, but you're trying to act like that was a charitable act.
Wait.
Can I go next?
Nick,
I got a quick question.
Wait, no, wait. No, I've been waiting this whole time. Let me just ask
You can wait a little more.
I've been waiting the whole time.
he did. He yielded his time to me.
It's not going to take long. I get a quick question. Is there like certain billionaires, Jinx, that you think need to pay more and others don't, or across the board? And is there some, maybe there's some grief around working at a company that you think that they should have more vacations or this kind of thing? Where is the beef is what I'm trying.
So I'm a scientist, so I don't have like a beef working like at any Amazon or anything like that. I'm talking across the board, sweeping. I don't care where you're from, I don't care what you look like, nothing. Billionaires should not exist in this country, in my opinion. So I'm sweeping it.
I mean, neither should the homeless, but you married one.
Jinx, alright.
Hey, hold on. We're gonna go to Lourdes, but I'm just gonna give a warning to everyone that's on this stage right now. We've already talked to the stupidest person on this app. Look, just everyone take a deep breath. I want everyone to take a very deep breath, okay? A very deep breath. Breathe in.
In for 4, hold, out for 6. Sorry.
No, that's good. Please lead us again. Can we take one more deep breath?
Who's the stupidest?
No. Hold on. Jinx, go ahead. Lead us one more deep breath.
In for 4, hold, out for 6.
Very good. Very good. Now listen. Hold on. I want everyone to just relax. Now that we've taken these deep breaths, if you feel like you need another one, you can move yourself down to the audience and you can take another one. Feel free. I don't want anyone to interrupt each other, and I don't want anyone to pile on to anyone. If you disagree with them, that's fine. We'll create a queue. I don't want any name calling. You know what we're going to do? I'm in the presence of Timok, who channels love. And so I'm feeling the love of this room right now, and I want to encourage everyone in this room to just tap into whatever source of love you may have. Maybe you don't have a source of love. Maybe you could find one. There's plenty of people here. Shirley is a great source of love. Edward's a great source of love. Dr. Jordan's a great source of kinky love, if you're into that sort of thing. But I want you to channel into whatever's going to make you feel at peace here. And we're going to let Lourdes speak. then we're going to get the conversation going. We're going to pass the mic around to people that haven't had a chance to speak. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to name call unless Astro comes up. If you guys bring Astro up, you guys can rip him to shreds. I don't care. But we're going to be nice to Jinx, and we're going to be nice to everybody else. Jinx is a guest here. She's got a pink ticket. She's got a charming voice. She's got some dumb ideas. I didn't say she was dumb. I just said she's got some dumb ideas. No, I didn't say you were dumb.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. I'm here to learn. So
I just want to make sure that everybody is showing kindness to everyone on the stage. If you need to have an outburst, if you feel the need to, you got two choices. You can move yourself down to the chat, and you can say whatever you want in the chat, or you can take it out verbally on Astro. Those are your options, but you cannot take it out on any.
Roger, just a point of clarification, real quick. You did not point to me as a source of wealth because that would just be a complete blatant hypocrisy that existed. Roger, and then furthermore, and Jinx is like really a great person. She is a wonderful human being. Be kind to her, guys.
Dude,
For clarification on the rules, Roger, if I were to say "fuck you, Brad," and then people
that would be bad.
You know, if I were to say that was directed at Astro, I was telling Astro "fuck you."
That's what we're going to do when you do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Lordness. Lordness is going to go ahead, and he's going to offer his submission. We're going to have a conversation. XG, I'll bring you back up. Yes, I'll even mod you again. Hey, everyone, Rich, don't interrupt.
What asked the Trimac was the actor doing?
He is the actor now, yes. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Cool.
Yes, he is. If you guys want to look up everybody's username on the Google machine, go ahead and do it. Yes, my friends are popular. So, XG, go ahead and stop trolling the room. We're going to have an intelligent conversation. Lordness is going to speak. We're going to pass the mic around. I want everyone to be very kind to our special guest, Jinx. And I'm not just saying that because she's hot. I'm just saying it because we want to be nice to each other. So, Lord...
Look, Jinx, what do you think would be a better way to solve the situation by abolishing taxes or keeping it the way it is right now?
that's a really good question. I definitely don't think we should abolish taxes. I think that we should make sure that they're evenly distributed to people's income levels. I think that's how I see it.
But wouldn't you want a win-win on both sides?
I think that billionaires are winning already.
But what if you weren't taxed? You could flourish.
But they're already. I don't know how much more you can flourish I'm not talking about millionaires, by the way. I'm talking about billionaires.
Okay, so Jinx, I got a question for you. So, if the top 1% are already paying 46% of all of the income tax that's collected federally, what do you think the proper number is for the top 1%? If 46% of all the income tax is not enough from the top 1%, how much do you think it would?
The percentage of the economy that they own.
Oh, okay. Well, then they would all get tax cuts.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they would all get tax cuts.
But they're the top 1%.
You're very generous. You are a very generous woman.
Can I ask you a question, James?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, well, be careful.
Why not?
Hold on. Be careful.
Let me
Ask her.
I've been waiting patiently. Let me ask her.
Astro, you're gonna be a little bit more patient. I'm gonna ask you to be very polite. Jinx is my special guest here, and Jinx, you just have to know, this guy is the motherlode of all bad ideas. He is a left-wing Republican that voted for Donald Trump. I just want to clarify that for you in your mind, that this is a Trump supporter that is pro-tariff. But so I want to warn you so you can be prepared for the bullshit that's going to come out of his mouth.
Would you be against a policy that only taxes the rich and actually does a tax exemption for the poor and the middle class?
I think that I don't think that I should not pay any taxes, and I'm middle class.
But how about just like income tax? That's more what I'm suggesting. So you can still pay like property tax and all these other things, but income tax is exempt for certain tax brackets. But if you're like making a certain amount, then you get taxed by your income. You think that's a good alternative, would you say, or would you be against that and just do like proportional income tax, regardless of class?
I think proportional income tax is what I would do. But the proportion, the math has to math. It has to be like it would just be like a fraction of what it is now.
Jinx, I'm a CPA now. I haven't taught much.
Nice.
So you were saying the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes. Well, that's because you have three ways of earning money. Earned through like a W-2 job or self-employed, small business owner, contractor, whatever. Passive through rental real estate or whatever, rental properties, or portfolio like dividends, capital gains, interest that you get from investments. What the rich realize is they don't earn their money through a job because that's taxed at the highest rate. Because so like if you read about a lot of CEO pay isn't as much as you think, because you'll see a lot of them, their base pay is about, $500,000, but what happens is they'll pay themselves like $5 million in stock or stock options, because if you wait a year, that's taxed as a capital gain, and that's only taxed at a 20% rate, and you don't pay FICA tax. So you don't pay 7.65 into the greatest Ponzi scheme ever known as Social Security and Medicare. So that's where the rich have. They invest in their financial education. If you really understand, too, the rich people don't work for money. They have assets working for them, and they have their money working for them. So they understand the game of money. And, you want to keep, you say these billionaires are bad, but they shouldn't exist. Okay, fine. That's fine. But do you have a 401k or Roth IRA? Because guess what? It invests in Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, Tesla. So it's whether you like it or not, you want them to be successful, and you want their companies to go up and grow value, because we all gain from that. So, for them to be a billionaire, like Mr. Edward said, or Abby said, they have to improve a lot of people's lives or make a lot of people's lives better. And they have done that. So
I think that's an awesome take. I think that the second half of what you said about the 401k and the Roth IRAs, because I do participate in those things. But I will say about the first half that you said, they're able to participate in the stocks and they're able to buy homes because they have the money to do that. The lower and the middle class don't quite have that luxury. So I that's where my issue is.
But,
you know what I mean?
I guess you can consider me middle class. I buy stocks and I invest my money. I actually make more money from my investments than I do my everyday job. So am I bad for paying a lower tax rate and not paying my fair share?
No, because you're not a billionaire. I'm talking about billionaires. I'm not talking about people like us who have to exchange some sort of time for money. The normal people. I would like to think I'm upper middle class. So, I'm not talking about this bracket. I'm talking about the people who have more money than God. The people that won't even feel that if you fed, you can feed the world with the amount of money that they have. So, that's what I'm talking about.
Very true. Go ahead, let Mr. Edwards speak.
Yeah, Jinx, I love your passion. It is very cute. I'm serious. I'm going to say to you the number again, Jinx. 3,027 billionaires worldwide. You're picking on a group of people that have created tremendous opportunity through the free market to make all boats rise. Nick just said to you, all of us have a right to earn, but you also have a right to invest. But the average person portion don't invest. They don't invest in their own selves. I think one person in the chat was talking about that the revenue in our company, guys, the first 2017, we gave 700 of our people that work for us $40 million. We split it among all of them. Okay? How did that happen, guys?
They brought value to the company and improved your operations, your bottom line, and they thought outside of the box. Because Mr. Edward, I work in manufacturing. I'm a plant controller over 7 plants. Well, I see our accounting manager. If we can find my company money, that goes into the pool of bonuses and it gets paid out, so we all benefit. There's that incentive.
So Nick, this is the point. I don't think that everybody really comprehends the investment side, like you talked about the 401ks, the Roth IRAs, all other type of investments. Guys, I like Nick said, we make more money on our investments than what my company can ever do. And yes, you're right, Jinx. Because we have the money, we can invest it. But you know how we got it, Jinx? By building opportunities for other people. No one gave it to me. I didn't come from a family of rich people. But I tell my children, rich people come out of us. Okay? Why? Because we designed something that people do. I'm in death care for 37 years. When I first started out, I started knocking on doors, selling graves door to door. It just didn't happen overnight. And I don't like people, and I hear you keep saying, not the billionaires. Roger gave you complete understanding of what happens with all of the people who create opportunity. Do not look at these people as like the left. They're not evil. And being a free market person is not evil. That's where I live.
Yeah, Edward, real quick again, Jix, I'm trying to find the heart of the matter. What is in your... I'm trying to understand what you're not getting about what everybody's been saying, and why is it that you see people that are poor and struggling? What made you come to this conclusion? Across the board, all billionaires should be doing.
Is that for Abby? I mean for Jinx, I'm sorry?
Yes, it's for Jinx.
All right, you said it. Go ahead.
So
No,
what what makes me think that? I'm sorry. Can you repeat like the gut of that?
Yeah, and I forgot what I was saying.
I'm making dinner. Sorry.
I didn't have a question.
Oh, hold on, real quick. What are you making for dinner?
I'm making chicken thighs with vegetables and a side of rice. I eat very clean. I don't eat a lot of crazy stuff.
What did you season the chicken with?
Slap yo mama seasoning. It's really good.
And are you grilling it? Are you frying it? What are you doing with it?
So I have these new cast iron pots that I got, and I have a chef stove. So what I like to do is I like to put them on the cast iron both sides after I let them marinate in like lime juice. And then I season them with spices, put them on the cast iron, let them fry on both sides. And then I like to put them in the oven with some butter so that they're very tender on the inside, but kind of flaky on the outside.
All right. Look, I think based on that, I will be much more tolerant of your views on economics.
Thank you.
That's hilarious.
That sounds great. Yeah, Jinx, I was trying to get to the heart of why you feel this way. Yeah. And after Edward said what he had to say, and everybody else has been saying what they had to say, why did you come to the conclusion that these billionaires need to do more? I'm trying to see how you're looking at life and people and the workforce. Can you answer that for me? What's the heart of it?
Sure. So, number one, I live in Los Angeles, right? And
wait, can we qualify that? Do you actually live in LA, or are you like some Orange County chick?
No. I used to be, but no.
You sound more like Newport Beach, I'm just saying.
Oh my God, I've sounded like this since I came out the coochie, okay?
No, Roger. Jinx, are you from Compton? I live in Orange County, Jinx. She doesn't sound Orange County, Roger.
Thank you, Jesus.
Well, hold on. She doesn't sound LA proper either. I could go with Hawthorne. I could go with Watts. There's a few other places. I just don't think she's from LA. I don't think she's in LA.
Well,
That's what
I was born and raised in Long Beach. So.
There you go. LBC. Shout out. Okay. You ever go to the Long Beach Grand Prix?
Yeah, I've been a couple of times. But once you've gone to 2, you've gone to them all at that point. Yeah.
Okay. Men might have a different experience there, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
So,
for women, you can only get ran up through a couple times. So go.
I don't know, I'm married. So the thing about this, the reason I want to answer his question is I live in Los Angeles, California, and maybe, like you said, I do have a really big heart and I'm very nice, but it's very difficult for me to see people that have so much money driving by people who are literally on the street begging for food. The polarization really bothers me. That's just me. That's one thing. And 2, I am a scientist. I have multiple degrees, and I work my ass off, but actually work 2 jobs at some pretty heavy hitters. And I feel like I'm at a point where I have to exchange time for money, and they take so much from me, so much from my taxes, that it bothers me that I even have to pay this much in taxes. So I don't think it's fair that I have to pay this much and I'm literally just I'm middle class, I'm just trying to make it, versus a billionaire that has all of these loopholes that they're able to go through, and then they just get a new huge tax cut from some of your favorite presidents, Donald Trump, to even have more loopholes. I just don't like that. It doesn't feel fair.
So hold on. So let me just break this down. So you don't like to pay taxes, but you oppose tax cut.
I never said that. I don't like to pay as much as I pay in taxes. That's where I'm coming from. I never said that I would think I should. I would prefer.
Why living in LA then?
Yeah.
Well, I can explain.
Yeah, but
So I can explain Jinx.
You'd pay less.
I can explain Jinx's position.
To explain me by some really fictitious story that he's made up in his head. It's very weird that he does this.
That's amazing. All that. So Jinx believes that billionaires pay such a small, minute percentage of taxes of what they earn, but she doesn't actually realize how much they actually pay. She thinks that they pay a tenth of 1%. That there's all these loopholes and billionaires don't pay any taxes. That's her biggest contention, and she thinks because she makes $300,000 a year and she has to pay 40% taxes, it's wrong, because that a billionaire only has to pay a tenth of 10%, which isn't true.
Ultimately, I do think the billionaires do need to pay their fair share and actually, they have greater social responsibility compared to other
Hold on, Astro.
Why do you think they're not? I'm just losing it with this. Why do you think they're not? I just went through some of the taxes that they're paying. I didn't even get through all of them. It's an extraordinary amount of taxes in every aspect, whether it's personal income taxes and business taxes, property taxes, use taxes. I mean, it's not a tax-free life for them. And then a majority of the 3,000 plus, or the ones in the United States, have pledged their wealth to philanthropies. Let me talk about them. And where 90% of their wealth is not even passing down. So, at what part of your salary in LA not buying purses, but giving it to the poor people? Are you taking?
She doesn't.
Your salary?
I don't buy that.
10%? Do you take 10% of your Do you take your appreciated stock? Do you take 10% of your salary and do you give it away? 10% of it. Do you do that?
No, because the
Well,
standard of living. I'm not well above the standard of living, Abby.
People
Can you calm down?
She doesn't make $300,000.
People that make a lot less than you give money away.
Abby,
People give money away at all income brackets. If you're feeling this, I gave money away as a baby lawyer. I wasn't making that much then, but I gave a good percentage of my salary away. So if you feel this, why are you not giving money away?
Real quick,
Roger, what is the breakdown on taxes that are paid by people?
Hold on one second. If you're, because you're making a good point. Abby, she can also start a non-for-profit for people that she's feeling that are downtrodden, right? She can do other things.
I work 2 jobs. When
Tamik,
can
she
I
doesn't
do
have
that?
to. She can take.
Tell me,
She
I'm
can
writing
take a
a book, I'm
percentage.
working 2 jobs, and I'm a behavioral specialist.
Hold on. I know you heard what I said. Hold on, mute yourself. Thank you. So, I've already broken down the math for you. I'll repeat it for anyone that's new, or maybe if it'll sink in by me repeating it. So, when you look at all of the income tax collected federally, all of it, the top 1% of income earners in this country, the top 1% pay 46% of the entire collection of income taxes federally. When you expand that to the top 10% of income earners, it's 76% of all income taxes paid by the top 10%. And when you expand to the top 50%, it's 97.7%. The idea that the rich don't pay their fair share, you're first of all, you're not looking at the reality of the situation. The top 1% again pays almost 50% of all the taxes. So the idea that they're not paying their fair share is just crazy.
They should be doing more.
I'd like to.
They have to be doing
something
more.
I was saying.
You're
I
right.
would like to. One last thing.
Well, hold on. Before you guys go, here's the question then. And I'll ask the question of Jinx, and I'll ask the question of Astro. And I'm not asking for a big, long explanation. I'm just asking for a percentage. If the top 1% currently pays 46% of all of the income tax, and you're not happy with that and you think they should pay more, I want you to give me a number that you think the top 1% should pay in terms of percentages. I want you to give me that number. So I'll start with Jinx. What is the percentage that you think the top 1% should pay of all income tax federally? Jinx, this is your chance.
80%.
Okay, got it. So at least everybody hold your jeers. We will address that in a moment. So we have one person that's saying that they should pay 80%. That means that the 99% of the rest of the country, she's saying, should cover the 20%. Interesting. Astro, what percentage of all of the income tax federally collected do you think the top 1% should?
A 3% increase from the current rate.
I'm asking you what percentage they should pay of the, this is not a trick question. Answer my question. 46% of all income taxes are paid by the top 1%. What, if you think they should pay more, give me how much do you think the top 1% should pay?
I mean, of the current tax rate for the 1%.
I didn't ask for the current tax rate. Listen to the frame. Okay, fine. You go to the audience. You can't listen to simple instructions. At least Jinx answered the question, answered it honestly. The lefty that's LARPing as a Republican, the anti-capitalist, the guy that we have created this room title for, probably, I say that, man, I say this too much, so I need to reserve it. At this point in time, I can confidently say I've never met a more ignorant human being on or off the app when it comes to economic policy. The most ignorant human being I've ever met. But Jinx, I'm going to let the room talk about this proposal you have. But before we do, can I ask you one more thing? If we were to expand to the top 10%, which pays 76% of all taxes, do you think that the top 10% should maybe pick up the rest of the taxes, and then the 90% of Americans just get a free ride? Is that would that help you, Jinx?
I don't think that any everybody should get a free ride. Oh.
Well, but 50% of the country essentially is, because the bottom 50% is paying 2.3% of all the income tax. Do you think that maybe we should eat the poor? Maybe the bottom 50%. Maybe the bottom 50% should pay more of their fair.
No, that's horrible. Oh my god. Can I just sit back and learn now? Is that okay?
Wait, do you like Sweden?
So Jinx, Roger gave you 20%. You said 80%. So I'm gonna ask you a question. Jinx, do you think tax is theft?
I think that I agree with what Mr. Nick said in the chat. I think that income tax is theft. Because I'm trading my hours for money. Hours of my life.
So let me ask
It has to increase it though for the top 1%. So basically, you don't think income tax is theft. You think that income tax is theft of your money, but you think that they should steal from other people. So you're basically fucking robbing.
No, you said, well, not you said, Nick said earlier that these people generally have like dividends and they're getting passive income. So they're not essentially trading hours of their lives for money.
And you shouldn't be either, because you said something. Another word you said was loopholes. So I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you not have access to the tax code of the United States of America?
Of course I do. If I go on the internet, I'm sure I could use it. But I have stock, you guys. I have a 401k. I have all of these things.
No, Jinx, I'm not talking about tax. I'm not talking about stocks. I'm talking about, do you think that a millionaire, billionaire, whoever you want to say, do you think they're not using the same rules of engagement when it comes to taxes that you can?
No, because I don't have the same money to use the
Jinx, I think you're missing the point. It's not about how much money you have. It's the tools you use. You're not using the tools. Because you right now, if you are clearly making $300,000, there's a whole lot of other ways to make sure you shelter your funding. And Abby gave you a big one. You said you're not giving anything away. You're not giving to charities. You're not using the write-offs that's already on the books.
The cost of living is too high here, Mr. Edwards.
That's part of the problem that I have with what Abby said. One second. That's part of the problem that I had with Abby said, because with the way that she ended up framing it the first time, it was like, look at all these good things that they're doing for society. Look at how much of a benefit they're doing by donating to these charities and building this. Look at the names of the buildings that you see next to you. And now we see the reality is no one's the billionaire gives a fuck about the society. They just want a tax write-off.
Oh, that's not true.
No, wait, hold on. No. Everyone mute up. XG, I don't think you've ever said anything that stupid in your life before. First of all, if they're doing something charitable for the benefit of the tax write-off, that's a good thing. That means that incentives work. This means that if properly incentivized, we can get people to do good things. And you're speaking out against, well, if their motivations aren't pure, then they shouldn't do it. And if we were XG, hold on. This thought that people have that if somebody with high wealth gives to a charity solely because it's a tax write-off, and I believe that there's some that do that, but I don't know about you guys. I'm sure Abby knows people with very high wealth. I would imagine that Nick, in the business that he's in, probably has seen people with extremely high wealth. There's a couple of you that have experienced and been in proximity with people that are very high wealth. Here's the one thing I can tell you for sure: when people have a lot of wealth, the one thing that they obsess about is how are they going to be perceived, and they do think about things like their legacy. They want to make sure that their community thought fondly of them. They want to make sure that their family thinks fondly of them. And once you've beaten the game financially, the only game left to play is for legacy points. And so to get these legacy points. And I could tell you, some of it, I don't believe it's all altruistic. I think you and I might agree on that. But what they are playing a game of is that they want people to perceive them as being altruistic. And if we can create an incentive structure, which we have, which allows them a tax write-off for giving to charity, we should encourage that. Talked about this before. I think they should have an unlimited write-off for charitable contribution. The whole reason you're supposed to collect taxes in the first place is to be able to serve the public good, right? So if you're serving the public good through a private charity, you should be able to maximize that. And now, for those of you statists that don't like that idea and you want the money to stay with the state, like guys like Astro, for example, then maybe you don't maximize it and let it be an unlimited write-off all the way up to 100%. Maybe you don't do that. But you should definitely look at increasing it, because it is a very good thing when people look to their community and look for a group of people that are serving a purpose, that are helping solve a problem in their community, and say, I want to give my money to that. It should not matter if the reason they want to give that is because they believe in it, although I do believe some of them do. It doesn't matter if their motivation is, I want people to think I'm a good guy when I'm really a shithead. Who cares? It doesn't matter. The money's going to the cause. And I can tell you that there's not a single nonprofit on the fucking planet that would turn that money away, even if they knew fucking wholeheartedly that the person didn't believe in their mission. If he was writing the check, they would say, you know what? Lord works in mysterious ways. We'll take the money. We'll make good use of it. And I can't believe that people get hung up on this shit about whether or not their motivations are pure. It doesn't fucking...
It's not about the motivation specifically entirely, because there's also, again, the write-offs that I was talking about aren't always for the public good. You have people that get their friends to evaluate a fucking blue line on a canvas for $150 million. You go ahead and do it for a charity art gallery donation, and boom, you get a giant fucking write-off afterwards. So, like, I get it. There are some instances where, for example, if it's a park, if it's a little library or something that gets a donation, of course, I'm not saying the charitable part. Abby, I didn't interrupt you. I wouldn't want to be interrupted. So again, when I say that there are things that make it seem like when she was talking, saying that, oh, well, look at all these good things that are being done, look at what they're doing. But the way that it was phrased, as if it was some type of generous thing that they're genuinely doing because they want to contribute to the good, because she was tagging off of Edward's point about how, hey, well, when we make more money, everyone else makes more money, et cetera, and putting on to like the greatness of what billionaires do, et cetera, right? I'm not denying that when they do those charitable acts, for whatever intention it may be, that there may be a net positive out of that, specifically like the examples I listed with the libraries, et cetera. But there are multiple other examples where it's not beneficial at all. It's as beneficial as asking a communist, how do you evaluate the mud pie as a labor value when it comes to what they decide to associate or get appraised by their friends in order to get a certain write-off off of it. I'm not saying that the charity doesn't work. I'm saying it does. Just don't frame it as if they're doing it out of the generosity of their heart and not for what they actually need, which is a tax write-off.
I got to respond to this. Number one, you missed exactly what I said on how many billionaires took the pledge that Warren Buffett put out, that 90% was going to go back altruistically. I think you must have had cotton in your ears when I said that. Number one. Number two, it's not little libraries. I hope for your sake that you don't get ill and you don't have to go to the hospital. But for the lady in LA, if she has to go to Cedars-Sinai, take a look at how most of Cedars-Sinai, one of the best hospitals in LA, got built. Look at whose names are on the walls of it. Realize that this isn't little drips and drabs of money. It's large sums of money. And by the way, the person that has their art appraised still has the scrutiny and still has to go through the scrutiny of the IRS, especially when it's art and art donations. It's the most strict scrutiny of any charitable donation is artwork. And if you haven't experienced that, try to donate a piece of art and watch how a 501c3 receives it. And with respect to the girl that's in LA, these people that aren't working, that you're worried about, that need to be fed, why aren't they working? What are they doing?
Because they're mentally
Are they all ill on the streets? Or some of them just don't want to be working? So not all these people, you have to also evaluate who are the people that you think deserve the handouts. And look at these handouts. And my last thing I want to say, if you earn this amount of money and you have stock, which you said you have stock, then take your appreciated stock, because under our tax code, you don't have to pay capital gains on the appreciation, and donate it to the United Way. You don't have time because you work 2 jobs, take it, donate it to a charity, to a food bank. If you're really worried about feeding the people on the streets, then take your appreciated stock and donate it. And that's what you should be doing. You should have been doing it whether you're a waitress or you're a scientist or you're a billionaire. You should be donating and giving money to charity. And if you want to sit and complain about others that you think shouldn't exist, I don't think people should exist if they don't give back. And for you to sit here and complain and then say that you don't give to anyone, then shame on you. Shame on you for that. You take that stock that you own and find the one that made the most money and give it to the food bank in LA.
Why would I do that if we're talking about billionaires, Abby?
Yeah, I know many of them in my industry, and I have a hospital down the street that they built.
You're talking about my hundreds of thousands of dollars a year compared to a billionaire. Do you understand the cost of living in Los Angeles?
Okay, I would like to interrupt.
Like, what's happening? Like, you're putting all of these words in my mouth because you want to talk to me, but it's like, come on. Like, what are we talking about?
So I said when I was a baby lawyer, what did I make? 30 grand as a baby lawyer out of law school? I gave 2,000 away. I remember writing the check.
Did you live in LA? Did you live in Los Angeles, California?
Well, did you live here in LA? Did you can't afford it? Don't live in LA. Don't pay LA taxes. Move to the next town that you don't pay taxes. Move across the border where I am, where I have no state.
Yeah, that sounds easy.
It's easy where I am.
My family's here. Jesus Christ.
You can take the extra money.
Jesus Christ. I know.
Yeah. I'm very entitled.
All right, hold on.
Okay, we have to wait for Roger to come back.
Well, let's go.
James, do you know why tax code?
All right, let's take a.
Good. Nick is an accountant. Why don't you let Nick speak?
Okay, so, Jinx, do you know why tax code was written? It was incentives that the government and things that the government wants you to do. And what does the government want you to do? Create housing and create jobs. So therefore, what these so-called evil rich people do is they create jobs and they create housing and make people's lives better. So you can partner up with the government and take advantage of, these what you call loopholes, but they're really just incentives. I mean, tax code's out there. You can read it, and it tells you what incentives and what things you're supposed to do, and that's how they'll reward you. What's stopping you?
I want to jump in here.
The cost of living. Sorry, Shirley.
Listen, I want to jump in here. I know that it's hard to live away from your family, but I think that you're probably more aggravated by how much everything is costing in California than you are the taxes. Just quite honestly. I have come to the point that I almost celebrate when I have to pay taxes because it means I made some money. I had to pay taxes last year. It means I made some money. But it would aggravate me if gas cost me $6 a gallon. That would aggravate me. It doesn't cost that where I live. I live in a lovely home that I may not be able to afford in California. So those things might aggravate you. And we hate to ever quote Jordan Peterson, but when you're carrying your cheap bag and somebody's walking in with their $3,000 purse, I mean, I'm sorry, that just kind of makes your eyes get wide up. Those things. But to the point that Abby was making, it is a universal, and I'm not talking down to you, hon. It's just a universal fact that somehow the universe or God, however you want to say that, I'm in the Christian business, somehow the act of giving and the discipline it takes to give, somehow the blessings flow to you. It's just a universal law. And you might want to just look into that and have an attitude of gratitude. And I'm not quoting that is not a quote that I'm taking from some kind of left goofy evangelist with the promise of money. I don't know how to say that. It's just an absolute truth. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now.
Jinx, do you drive by your Tesla Model S and look at the homeless and think, man, somebody should take care of this?
I do. I think my taxes.
I bet you do. You're like the billionaires.
I think that my
Not me.
taxes
I shouldn't get this person a sandwich. I shouldn't get this person a bottle of water.
Wait, hold on, you sons of bitches. Everybody mute up. Listen, I can't believe that my phone dies. Actually, I can believe my phone dies. I come back to the room and you guys are yelling at each other and talking over.
Oh, I literally just said something.
Oh, no, shut your mouth. Listen, I have my mother in the car with me, so no cursing, okay?
Hi, Mom.
Hey,
Roger, you just came back in when I was asking her a question.
hello.
Hi, Mama. Roger, you are right. Your mom does sound black. You are black.
What did you say, son?
I think one of the back channel timeout.
So things, it's quite interesting. I actually enjoyed the conversation, but this is one of the things I say to people who think that it's someone else's responsibility to take care of a grown person on the street. You don't have to live in LA. I know you say your family lives there, but we're not trees. That means we can get up and move and go to a lesser area. This is very important that people understand this. No one's making anybody live anywhere. Okay, so if we decide that we want to keep paying, we live in California because we want to, but we also can leave. We don't want to. So because I live in a state that I have to pay the taxes and pay the property taxes, we do.
Oh, I love that you're here too. Okay. Oh, I love that.
But I live in Orange County, Jinx. And you know what, Jinx?
I moved out of Huntington. I was like, hell no. I bought a condo there, sold it. I was like, fuck this place. No way.
I got it.
Whoa. Jinx.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mama Mojo's here.
Okay. So, Jinx. So, no, don't apologize. So, this is what I said. It's very interesting because you're talking about people who earn money. They can choose to do whatever they want with their money, like you choose to do what you do with your money. You have chosen to live in Los Angeles. And C said she got out of LA. And if you don't know, you can look it up. 1.3 million people left California. They took all their money with them. They voted with their feet because we have poor government in California. So what you have to do is stop looking at the individuals and say to yourself, where can I go and live better and do better? But if you want to live in California, you are going to pay for it. And all the people on the streets in California, they're not all mentally ill. They're not all sick. Okay, a lot of them play the game. They go around because they can get on the 1st and the 15th. We see them all the time. My wife and I work in soup kitchens, and they go from one to the other. Trust you me. So let's
they
sure.
do for sure. They will go from one soup kitchen to the next. But I will say, Edward, I will move out of this country as soon as my mom is gone.
So,
as soon as my mom's not here, I'm out of here.
Okay,
wait, hold on. Where are you going?
Yeah, I was going to ask thing, Rod. Where country you going to?
Can we have a party?
I'm thinking like Spain. To be honest with you,
So you're gonna go to Spain?
I
Really?
thoroughly enjoyed it, and I also love Greece.
Jinx, I'm not gonna lie. If you're bitching about taxes in the U.S. already, you're gonna hate Spain.
Yeah, Spain, Portugal, and Greece, all three are having like major you're rioting and
She wants
protesting
to
in
go.
Garden
She
City.
wants to go to a country that was a slave colony. That was sending slaves to the U.S. I get it. She's pro-slave.
So what I wanted to add, hold on a second.
I know some people that came back from Milan the other day. Portugal is having a bunch of riots.
Get my 2 cents in here. So what I've been trying to track here is that someone who works in clinical pathology, unless they're an MD or a DO, and there are PhDs, of course, working in clinical pathology or techs, whatever. When someone says they're a scientist, that means something, right? Like it has a little bit of cachet, perhaps, and I think it's been misleading. So I'd like to find out what Jink's degree is. Is it a PhD? Is it a PharmD? What do you call yourself as a scientist?
So I have a master's in biochemistry, and then I have to take a national certification in order to become a licensed scientist in the state of California.
Okay, so that's not what we mostly think of as a scientist. You're working in a clinical space with a master's degree, which is great. Good on you. But that's not what we think of as a scientist typically. People don't typically go into science to make money to begin with, number one.
Right.
Second, it said that you're married, so you have the income presumably of a spouse. This isn't a criticism, but I think people have been a little bit misled. Like Rich said that you're driving a Tesla. Maybe you are.
It's a Model S Plaid.
No, it's not.
Hold on. So it sounds like you're way in over your head.
Hold on. Dr. George, hold on. Mute yourself. Hold on, guys. Listen, she's broke, and this is why she took advantage of the subsidy in California to get a Tesla. She probably is paying $200 a month for a lease for her Tesla.
Oh, no, it's a lot more than that, but go ahead. You guys are just so, crazy, weird, offensive, sirens.
That's why
No, if you have a master's degree in science, you're not making much, right? Number one, you do have good benefits, but to have a Tesla and a condo, it looks like you didn't spend wisely. You're not budgeting wise. That's what the problem.
Doctor, she doesn't know the difference between an asset and a liability. That's why she's complaining.
Well, I knew that she didn't have a doctorate because it's not to be elitist or anything, but someone with a doctorate living in LA would know that houses with 6 bedrooms in Beverly Hills cost way more than $3 million. Something is not right about the acumen of this person.
I said $6.8 million.
Okay, even there, right? The point is, just be honest with when you come into a room and you say you're a scientist. It has a little bit of cachet. I don't think it should because I am one, and I think it sucks, quite frankly. But I would just be a little more honest, and then people would be more forthright with you. That's all. And I know you didn't mean to mislead, but it's been confusing.
She did.
I think you're absolutely right to driver about one simple fact, because I've also been in the biochem industry, whatever. I've done both sciences. I can because I have a master's in biochem, so I can go clinical if I want, or I can go into biology or chemistry or pharm or whatever I want to do, right? I think you're definitely right about the Tesla being just totally a liability. I mean, it seemed like it was a good idea because I was commuting from really far when I lived in Huntington. And now it's so much money. The insurance is so much money. I cannot wait to get rid of it. And I had a BMW before. I had an X3 and it was so much more efficient. I'd rather stop and fucking get gas. Freaking get gas. Sorry.
So hold on. So you drive Teslas and BMWs, you live in a condo, and you're complaining about your taxes, but you want the rich people to pay more. Why don't you, if I were you, I would just tap out and go fucking marry someone with money.
No, I love my husband. He's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be completely honest here. Me being the one little lefty that is here, on the farther left of the spectrum than I am, you would be the rich that they're saying they're trying to eat.
What?
Jinx. Hey, Jinx, don't you want to tell your story about how you helped the homeless?
No, I don't know why you keep saying that. It's so bizarre. But
You said your husband was homeless at one
no,
time.
you can say it because
That's what you said. Chillism.
You can say it to him.
Like just real quick.
Remember what happens if you pull him into the conversation,
Have
Jinx.
that same manly conversation with my husband because he is in the room.
This isn't chillism,
I'm gonna go
Jinx.
ahead and go back and
Roger,
forth.
she was also complaining about the people that need to be fed on the streets. You missed that point also, that she's complaining about, but she doesn't want to contribute any of her own time or money into that.
I never said time. I said money. You have money, Abby. You're putting words in my mouth again because I'm the only woman here, and you want.
But you want other people to contribute their money.
You said you have 2 jobs, so you don't want to give them time.
3 jobs.
And then you said you don't want to give them money.
Wait, one second, Jinx. The reason why you would be the quote-unquote rich that would want to be ate by the further end of the left is for a couple reasons. Just based off what I've heard of the conversation, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You have the financial means to be able to go through further education to the point of a master's degree and attaining it. You were able to buy a condo and live inside of California, of all states. You were able to comfortably have a BMW and a Tesla, which most people, while it may seem inexpensive to you, for me, for somebody who's a college student, maybe 22 like I am, that's making less than $50K a year, yeah, a Tesla sounds pretty fucking expensive for us. When it comes to like your current living situation,
hold on, XC, hold on. Depending on the model of Tesla, with the subsidies that you get in California, it's one of the cheapest things to.
Okay, that's fair. I'll grant that, but I'm not granting that.
Not anymore.
Subsidies.
Also, XG, I wanted to just say really quick.
Yeah.
The first point that you made was that I was able to have further my education, whatever. That didn't come without loans. I didn't just like drop money on that. Like I had to take out student loans.
No, I understand.
You know what I mean?
I get you. I understand that completely. But there's also some people that are not within the financial means to even get a loan to get that master's degrees because they don't have the financial credit history in order to do so. They don't have the ability to negotiate in order to do so. They don't have the means in order to get that loan to that amount in order to get to a master's degree or be able to finish off their bachelor's and make enough money while paying off their bachelor's to be able to take out another one to get a master's.
What are we talking about? We're talking about taxing
have the same access to you as doing.
Yeah, we were talking about taxing billionaires, but then it became, oh my God, let's get mad at Jinx and get mad at her because she doesn't allot the small percentage.
No. I'm not saying get away. I'm not saying get
Slow down, guys. Slow down.
I'm saying that your position
Slow down. Listen, she's talking about taxing the billionaires. What she's leaving out is the fact that she's been presented with the fact that billionaires do pay a tax, and they pay much more tax than she does, and not just because the total dollar amount, but the percentage. They pay a higher percentage as well. 46% of all income taxes in this country are paid by the top 1%, and she wants to raise it so they pay 80%. So what she's asking for is for the 99% that find themselves outside of the top 1%. She wants them to essentially have a.
Yeah, but Roger, and her argument is that proportional to their income, they're only paying like 1/10 of 1%, so they're not paying as much as you and I.
Hold on. I've got somebody saying they got kicked to the goo. Who kicked somebody to the goo?
I never kicked anybody to the goo.
All right, I'm going to bring back this Bebop guy, not because I think he's going to say something intelligent, but he hasn't even spoken. He got kicked to the goo. It's weird. Let's bring him back up.
Just real quick, Jinx, you're not getting attacked, or at least from my end, you're not getting quote-unquote attacked for how your personal life is or what you do or what you've done so far, what you choose or choose not to do. It's me coming at it from it's interesting to hear you say the point of eat the rich. Like, take in mind, I'm not in complete disagreement with most of the stuff that you've said. If anything, I've been the most amicable to the things and perspectives you've been putting out. But the problem is, when we take into that collective idea, the mindset of eat the rich, and then you start describing your lifestyle as well, which you describe as upper middle class, right? At least with everything else that you've laid out. For us, or the majority of Americans, which who are not upper middle class, you would be grouped in with the same type of billionaires that you hate and I hate. You would be grouped in with those same types of people based on what you're able to do, your living conditions, and how much you're made to the point that you can live comfortably doing what you're doing right now in California. What I'm pointing out is the fact that the talking point that you're making, you also get grouped into that by the majority of people that make that talking point.
I respect that. I respect your opinion. I think I feel definitely that I'm very far from a billionaire. I don't even think that like somebody was saying that I buy purses. Like everyone's really hung up on this purse buy. I don't buy fucking I have to stop cursing. I don't buy like name brand things like that. That's not my vibe. All I do is survive in California, go to work, and come home. My life is very simple. So I don't feel
That's
that
understood, but the point is, Jinx, when you say all I do is survive, go to work, and go to Muhammad, California.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, surviving's not a BMW. Surviving's not a Tesla. Surviving's not a condo in California. Surviving's none of that. You're living comfortably, not as comfortably as you may want to be living right now, but you're living way more comfortably than a ton of people, more than 50% of this population right now. So unfortunately, you would still be grouped in with the eat the rich category. As uncomfortable as you feel, your uncomfortability is the dream of at least half the people living in a lower tax bracket right now.
Yeah, I feel like that's your opinion.
Hey, Jinx, do you feel that you've been attacked in this space today?
I feel like no, not necessarily attacked because I really don't. I mean, I have to go to work tomorrow. But not attacked. I just feel like we all just have different perspectives, and that's okay. You know, we're here to learn, and you learn about different things and different perspectives, and that's what this audio app is about.
I would like to say that I have, and I apologize, but it's just mostly because I don't like you personally.
Wait, hold on, Rich, stop doing that.
I was apologizing.
No, stop doing that. Well, why did we think it was an important question to ask her if she felt it?
Because, Roger, some people thought that she was being attacked.
Who thought she just admitted he was attacking her? What are you talking about?
Well, hold on. No, Rich actually admitted he doesn't like her. That's a different thing.
No.
He said he did it because he didn't like her. What do you know?
Bebot, let me explain something to you. I don't know if this is your first day on Clubhouse or not, but look, you're not going to do very well. Yeah, I see the Twitter logo in your.
Yeah, I need friends.
Little peach. No, you should probably go back to Twitter. You'd probably fit in better over there. But no, I think we've gone out of our way to make sure that we created space for Jinx. In fact, I threatened to throw people off the stage if they were unkind to her. So I think what you're doing by throwing your cape on, you're kind of exposing yourself here. So why don't you
just really wanted to
why don't you just be an adult?
Back to the conversation of billionaires. That's what I really wanted to do.
Okay, do you have something to submit, or are you just going to be a little faggot retard?
I just submitted it. Let's redirect and then repose the question. So I think billionaires paying less than the equal percentage of how much they own is kind of a travesty. I think if you focused on outside countries that were also democratic, like Finland, and you see the public works that they can pay for, you see the roads, the condition of them, you see the bridges, you see the aqueducts, the wells, the agricultural layout of the land, all that paid by taxes. And I think if we were to emulate that by taxing the upper 20% more than they're currently taxed at the lowest rate in the history of the country. So, all right, so let me interject.
Can I
Hold on. Let me interject real quick. So the top 1% currently pay 46% of all of the income tax in the U.S.
You've repeated this point over and over again.
I know. Hold on. I don't care.
Yeah, I do.
1%. It's a really. I know you do, but you don't understand economics. That's why I'm explaining this to you. So.
You don't even know who I am. How do you know I'm not an economics major or in economics as
I can tell by the way that you speak that you don't know anything about how economics work. That's So I have a question.
I don't trust anything else you're saying.
That's fine. If you don't want to participate, look, the faggots and the rechards do really well in the goo.
Babylon, that you're going to kick me into the goo. Go ahead, state your...
So Big Bob, I have a question. Why are you currently living in the United States?
Born here, raised here, 7 generations here.
I know, but you're promoting another country that you don't live in. I'm just curious.
Wait a minute, are you saying that we can't take any good ideas from anywhere else in the entire world?
No, because our ideas are the best. But and not right now, because we got fucking lefties that have taken over the Republican Party. They pose as
Roger, you're killing me today.
Let me explain something to you, Bebop. The top 1%, and I'll repeat myself until you people let it sink in, pay 46% of all income tax. My question for you is, do you think they should pay more than that?
Yes.
Got it. Well, you're a fucking retard. The only thing that I can
Okay,
think
good
of...
point, I guess? You can make an argument?
No, it's a great point. It's a great point. Well, I will probably continue to call you names, but I'll just be honest. Just throwing it out there as a caveat. But here's the thing I want you to keep
This
in mind.
isn't a very nice room.
No, it's
Well,
not.
that's okay.
Make the point, dude. You're failing. I feel like you're like a magic card.
Did you mention that?
No, I was actually in the car, you fucking retard. Hold on, let me address this fucking shit. These fucking half-wit weirdos.
I guess Mama Mojo is not in the car.
Okay, hold on. Listen.
Oh no! Why did you kick him to the goo? That's not fair.
Because he's a fucking retard.
Oh no.
So here, hold on. You can go back. Hold on. You can go to chillism if you want a conversation.
I'm not a fan of chillism.
Yeah, you do. We've seen you there. We've seen you there.
We were talking about economics and taxes. Go ahead.
So here's the fucking point, right? We can illustrate the fact that the richest people in the country pay the overwhelming majority of the taxes, but it's not enough. The only people that are asking for more are people that have poor spending habits like Jinx and people that have no income like Bebop.
Did you notice he was in favor of a wealth tax? The Elizabeth Warren. Did you hear him say that?
He's a retarded fag.
Then let's see how well does wealth tax do around the world. Nick, we could talk about France.
Did you see what they did in Norway? What happened when they did a wealth tax and all the rich people moved out? Like, one thing that these people don't understand is, like I said before in this room, the advantage rich people have is they study money and how to make their money work for it versus not working for money. And they understand the loopholes and they have mobility options. So when you try to tax people more, they're just going to find ways around it. It never works. I agree. We should have a flat tax, and a very flat tax. Flat is at 0%, but they got to cut spending, and that's what they haven't been able to do. But like, there's this whole notion that the rich people don't pay their fair share. Like, look at Warren Buffett, how rich he is. Okay, he's worth all these billions of dollars. These billionaires shouldn't exist, according to Jinx. Okay, well, what's going to happen? Where is Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates' wealth in? Microsoft stock, Facebook Meta stock, or Google stock, or Apple stock, or whatever company. They would have to sell that stock, which is actually illegal because under SEC rules, they can only sell a certain percentage. Like Jeff Bezos couldn't dump 12% of Amazon. Now he has to disclose in the 10K report that he's selling X amount of shares. But like this thing that like billionaires evaporate, yeah, good luck with that. You'll see what it does to your 401k, IRA, and the whole stock market. You will create much more damage than you think. So I understand where you're going on feelings. I agree. Wealth and income inequality is a problem. I agree. But you also have to date back to a couple things. It was the creation of the Federal Reserve, the income tax, and Nixon taking us off the gold standard. That's when wealth inequality started like skyrocketing. It wasn't under Republicans. It wasn't under Democrats. You could play the partisan games all you want. Like, you've had plenty of Democrats in office that could have done something and they didn't.
So did we lower their tax bracket than we did when?
Yeah, quick response. Would I be able to get a quick response to some of what was said?
Yeah, but I just want to say